For our little green man, we're going to start with an oval. And you can place this right about the middle of your page. I'm going to take up a lot of space here. We're not going to need a whole lot of space above or below, actually. So go ahead and start just building up an oval. About the middle of your page there. Yeah. Now, once you have this oval, we are going to go back in here. We're going to add in some guidelines. Our first one, of course, we'll add in our center line right through the middle. We'll extend this a little bit above towards the little antenna. We also need an eye line, and the eye line, I'm going to go ahead and place a little dot here on each side. I'm going to try and connect it to this, but we're bringing a hill here towards the top. Our little green men, they have their eyes up at the top of their head, kind of. They're sticking forward, just like that. So we want to leave a little bit of space over there. All right, so now that we have that, we've got pretty much all the guidelines we need. Let's go ahead and start building him from here. I'm going to start things off with his eyes. We're going to place in our first one right here in the middle. This is going to be just a little bit bigger than the other two. But for the bottom of the eye, I'm keeping it inside the shape, not really going above it. Our other two, we're going to just extend down along each side and try and get them to at least be pretty similar in size and shape here. I think that looks pretty good. So we're going to leave it at that and start adding in the top of the eye. Now this middle one is going to have a nice half circle or hill going all the way out of our oval, nice and tall. Our other two are going to be just a little bit shorter, but we still want to add in a nice curved hill to complete that. There we go. Now once you have this, you can go ahead and start to lock in your shapes here, really make them stand out on your page. Our little green men actually were not a concept at the very beginning of filmmaking. Toy Story 1 went through quite a lot of different changes as it was being made. But one of the big ones was Pizza Planet, or as it was originally going to be Pizza Hut. But they realized in the making that Pizza Hut or Camelot style places were not as popular. What was really popular and taking the world by storm was Chuck E. Cheese. So they wanted to make more of a pizza place with like games and stuff. So they went with Pizza Planet. However, the original toy, they were going to have a claw machine either way. The original toy was going to be a slice of pizza with sunglasses. And it was supposed to float. Now, I don't know how this would work for the rest of the toys in the universe since none of them can float, but I'm glad they changed it to these guys because they're super adorable. I love them. There we go. Get all that locked in there. Once you have this, he's looking like he's seen some things. And we don't want that. We want a nice, happy green alien. So let's add in some pupils, wake him up. I'm going to place our first one at the bottom of the oval line here, just inside the eye. Nice circle. And then the other two, you want to do pretty much the same thing. We're going to place it at the bottom of that oval guideline. Have him kind of looking out here at us. Now it's okay if you don't want to do exactly the same thing as me. If you want to have him looking different directions. If you saw the little toy I brought up when I was explaining the eyes, you know, one of his eyes is looking in different directions, so it's totally okay if you want to do that. You can even make him like, hey, have him wall-eyed, looking completely other direction. You can do that too. Have fun with it. This is your sketch, so you can make any version of these little guys you want. But just change the story. You can have fun with the story. Now that we've got this though, let's go ahead and lock in our head shape. We are pretty much all done with that. So I'm going to go over these lines here and bring this down to that center line, that guideline, eye line. There's going to be a tiny little gap right here on each side for the ears. So I'm just going to go just a little bit below and continue locking this in, bringing it all the way down and across. We have some pretty amazing casts for Toy Story 1, and Tom Hanks, he ended up having to do so many voice lines for Woody that he actually had to have his brother take over some of the roles for, they were doing toys, they were doing commercials, they were doing everything that they could, really marketing this movie. It really blew up. And it was Pixar's very first animated film, so they weren't able to get everybody that they wanted to for the roles. There's specifically one that I think would have been hilarious, but it definitely would have changed the role a lot, was for Buzz Lightyear. Does anybody know who they wanted to play Buzz Lightyear?
Billy Crystal.
Yeah, they wanted Billy Crystal to play it, but he did not know how good of a business decision that was going to be because, they had no predecessor. They were a new studio. Unfortunately, he did pass up on the role, and he said that was actually his biggest regret in business was turning down Toy Story 1. But, we got him in Monsters, Inc., so he still worked it. I'm adding in our ears for our lovely name. And here we're going to add in 2 curves extending up on each side, and then we're going to bring down this C curve, but I'm going to turn it into more of a J curve. I'm going to add a little hook to the end here. Put that right down on the side. We'll do the same thing over on the other side as well. Extend a really stretched out C curve, and then turn it into a J at the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and lock this in. Don't need to change anything here. We can keep all of these lines. And then on the inside, we'll just add the little fold of the ear. Now that little fold, we're just going to follow this curve and flip it. We'll make a different little hook, little J curve here. Extend across. There we go. Now another fun change they had was originally they wanted Woody to be more of a ventriloquist doll. But another sign of the times was that horror movies were really big, and what was really big in horror movies was ventriloquist dolls. So Toy Story or Pixar did not want this to end up a horror movie, so they decided to change that up, make him more of this, little sheriff. I think that was definitely a good idea. We also got to see them bring it back in Toy Story form. So, there was a ventriloquist dolls in that one. A lot of their ideas that they started with, they do bring back in other ways. Up at the top of his head, we're going to add a little sorry piece here. This is his antenna. I always think of a little sorry piece though, if you play the game. And then we'll finish things up with his smile. And of course, we're going to give him a mouth that is saying that iconic line of his, that ooh. So let's go ahead. We are going to, yes, I love it. We're going to start here in the middle. We're going to bring a hill, extend this across. And for this expression, we actually start with a little bit more of a ooh face. So we're going to pull the sides up with these letter U's. And this is going to give him more of a smile. We'll actually see that a little bit more once we have these smile lines to each side. We've got a roller coaster coming across here. For the bottom of his mouth, we're going to pull down. Now, I like to start with each corner here to make sure that they're pretty similar. And then we'll just bring a little letter U in the middle to create the rest of that. Now I'm going to go ahead and lock this in. Definitely want to shade in the inside of the mouth as well. We don't want to see anything in there. He's a toy though, so we probably won't see anything in there. There we go. Some shading for the inside. If you want to give him teeth or a tongue, something crazy, you're more than welcome to. This is your sketch. Have fun with it. You gave him a tongue. I love it. I want to see it. I can't wait to see it. Let's finish things up here with the mouth. We're going to add in a hill above and a letter U below. This is going to help show that those lips are kind of pushing forward, creating that expression. And I like to add a little bit extra just by bringing in the collar of his spacesuit. But that is not super necessary. You don't have to if you don't want to. More of extra credit. I like to add it though. But that is our last detail. So once you're all done with that, make sure you lock any lines that maybe started to fade away or add any extra details. But the most important part of your sketch is to definitely find a place on your page and sign your name. Let everybody know well, now that we're all done, I'd love to ask, how did we do in the end? Disney did good. Okay.